What's going on, people? It's your boy JKD.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. What's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Busby. And from the time, this guy's the Wakanda Forever sign up. Okay. Catch up again doing that? For everybody on the YouTube? Catch up? Close up. Yeah, nope. There we go. Jesus Christ. Okay. What's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Busby.
It's your boy JKD.
And from the time you hear the voices, it's only up from here.
Yes, sir.
It's the Up From Here podcast. This isn't the first official episode. This is the prelude to that.
Right.
But that's the intro, so get familiar with it. Just going to update you guys because a few crazy things have happened very recently. Mm-hmm. So we'll update you on our lives and what's going on, as well as show you the brand new logo reveal of the Up From Here podcast. So very crazy episode coming up. But in the meantime, JKD, what's been going on?
Not much, bro. Just keeping busy. You know, work life is getting busier, and my stuff on the side is getting busy. Graphics is getting hectic, but I'm not complaining. I'm thankful,
From what you've been telling me, you're working with some notable people these days.
I am, man. I am. Some people from New York, some people from London. I'm blessed to have a friend like Busby, to make that connection.
I
It's
wasn't
great.
even talking about the international stuff. I was talking more of the local guys. Like, there's some people that have hit you up, like, yo.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I've been watching everything you're doing without, some of these guys will watch, but they just won't interact.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
So keep that up. Think Elephant.
Think Elephant, yes.
So if you guys don't know, this is the guy, like, literally behind 99.9% of my graphics that you see me put out, which is like flyers for parties, the motion graphic stuff. Like, JKD's behind all of that. And his brand is called Think Elephant. So if you're a fan of what you see from our parties and want something similar, come correct, okay? Don't come with change dangling in your pockets, all right?
It's not no giraffe graphics, okay?
Jesus. Okay. What else you got coming?
I'm doing a couple of mixes. I'm still trying to doing a whole bunch of stuff.
This guy is so crazy. Last 2 nights ago, he put out that script?
Yeah.
The spring script. The man sends me the link, First thing in the morning before anything, I haven't even wiped the coal out my eye. Yo. I said, yo, what's up? Repost this and like it. I'm like, yo, say please. You know what this guy told me? You know what this guy told me?
You better please this.
All right, let me not even. All right. This guy's so crazy. First thing on a Tuesday morning, This guy's so crazy. I don't have time to bleep anything.
Okay.
So if you're okay with me not bleeping it,
go ahead, say it, man.
this guy on a Tuesday morning, I tell the man, yo, say please. What's wrong with you? The man says, I only say please when I'm asking for head. What is wrong with you? This guy. Don't cheers the camera. Nobody out there is agreeing with you right now. You're disrespectful. At least I know you're on your grind, but Jesus Christ. This guy, man. This guy's so crazy. Anyway, but yeah, I'm happy to see that. You know what else I was happy to see?
What?
Before we transition into the new podcast, because we're delivering uplifting messages.
Right.
But I have to use this moment as a teachable moment to remind you that I told you about those 13 reasons why I mix
Oh,
it.
gosh.
And I saw in the comments somebody like, yo, why are you still putting out different mixes? We're still waiting.
You know what's funny? I only have to do one more, and I still haven't done it.
This guy. For context.
Yeah.
Those of you out there, you know the 13 reasons why Netflix series. So JKD said, let me come out with a mixtape series called 13 Reasons Why You Should Rate Me as a DJ.
Great.
Very clever. But I told the man 2 years ago, 2 years ago, yo, if you're going to put something like that out, make sure and have all the mixes done.
Right.
Are you finished all the mixes? Nah, bro, but I got it. I'm only doing like half an hour each. It's all good. I did 7 already. I got the next ones next week. No problem. 2 years later, we are still waiting on this. This is worse than the Dragon Ball Z power-up This is ridiculous. This guy. All right, we're waiting. I'm happy you're working.
Thanks. Thanks for the encouragement. I only had 12 reasons. Yeah. Don't worry, the 13th one will come soon.
When? All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're doing your thing and family's okay.
Yeah, man. Everybody's
Kids growing.
Yes,
growing gracefully.
Nice. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Some people have to deal with health complications and all that. So that's one thing you should feel blessed about.
Yeah, man. Every day, bro.
Good, man. Now, as you guys could see, especially if you're watching the YouTube, all right, I didn't just go to Hudson's Bay to pick up this shirt.
You sure?
Recently, I went to Ghana to DJ.
Wicked.
That was a once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Right.
Once-in-a-lifetime trip. Now, I'm going to go from start to finish with, like, that experience for me.
Yeah.
So, from this very jump, we remember, DJ Dynasty.
Yes.
Out of the States. Big up Dynasty. Yeah. Dynasty, I met him in Dubai in 2018 when I went to DJ in Dubai.
Right.
Dynasty, I met him there. High and by and I'm just like, who is this big? Is this security? Like, who is this guy?
Right.
Say what up to him, just high and by.
Right.
Mind you, this is the importance of working very hard.
Right.
And maintaining relationships in some form.
Right. Right.
This whole story is an example of that. So this is 2018, right?
Okay.
Then we go to London that year,
right.
Later on in the year.
Okay.
He's on the same truck as us in London.
Right.
Say what's up to him again.
Right.
We realize he's Bayesian, you Bayesian. Right. We get into those talks. We develop a sort of connection.
Right.
Get booked on a show in New York on a boat ride.
Right.
Who's the DJ before me?
Right.
Dynasty.
Right.
My laptop was dead when I went to plug it in to use it. I put it on. I put the charger on. It was not charging my laptop for whatever reason.
Right.
I had to DJ off of Dynasty's laptop. Crazy. So we develop a rapport. Right. We speak more on the boat.
Yeah.
But this is very important. This is the third interaction with him, right? Yeah. And on the boat, he tells me, "Yo, Buzz, you know where I know you from? Like, really know you?" Mm-hmm. He's like, "I remember meeting you in Dubai," but he's like, "This is where I started paying attention." Now, I'm not going to call the name of the organization, but I put myself through one of those like contests, the voting contest.
Okay.
Where you say, okay, everybody vote for the next DJ that you'd want on so-and-so festival.
Okay. Okay.
So I campaigned.
Okay.
I got a bunch of people. Not only that, but people were organically putting my name as well.
Right.
And in a list of maybe 500 comments, I got about 150 of them.
Right.
Which is wild.
Oh, right. Right.
So common sense tells you maybe I should look into this guy if he has 150 like genuine people
right.
tagging his name.
Right.
Lo and behold, they didn't even respond to that. That organization, they didn't even respond to it. And I had to eventually go and ask them what's up.
Right.
Their response to that message was, "Yo, we need to guarantee that you could bring people, and we're not sure about that, so we can't afford to spend the money on you, despite you getting all those votes. So why did you do the contest?" But anyway, Dynasty told me he's like, I was in the comments looking at who was who,
right?
And he's like, "Who the this?" And then he's like, "When I clicked your name, I remembered you from Dubai, and that's really when I started paying attention to what you're doing,
right?
And I love what you're doing,
right? Right."
So then, like, established connection was made at that point.
Okay.
Right? You were there. My sister was there. Everybody.
Yeah.
So, fast forward now to the next year, maybe couple years. This is 2021 on that boat, right?
Right. Yeah.
Fast forward now to 2022. He gives me a phone call. We just made small talk, I think, about that boat ride and something else.
Okay.
And then he started talking to me about Africa. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Bro, you ever been to Ghana?" I'm like, "No." And this is a random. We have never really spoken like that.
Right. Right.
he starts telling me about Ghana, how beautiful it is, how he went there and it's not what people portray it to be.
Right.
And like something along the lines of like the status or the population size of Ghana.
Right.
You know, he compared it to like somewhere like Toronto or New York.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even like New York, for instance, because that's a huge demographic.
Yeah.
He was saying how all those people, let's just say 28 million people in New York,
Right.
a segment of that is the West Indian population. Right? So like the Bayesian community, for instance, he was saying like, I'm not even like fully quoting these statistics, is paraphrasing, and I might be wrong.
Right.
He was saying something along the lines of like 750,000 Bayesians live in the States.
Right.
1 million Trinis live in this, 1 million Guyanese. So when you incorporate all those, you have a number that's like maybe 3 million,
Right.
2 to 3 million
Yeah.
West Indians that live in the US, which
Right.
is 28 million.
Right.
Alternatively, if you go to somewhere like Ghana, it's 50 million people. And
That's crazy.
outside of like the local
Right.
and who lives there is maybe like 2 million difference.
Wow.
And the rest is straight Ghanaians
Right.
and or like whoever
Right.
in those places of the world. So he just used that as an example to show me like when it comes to the numbers and the listening numbers
Right.
that we get online, especially when it comes to streaming, the reason we're so behind as soca music is because we don't have those numbers. And what's a way to increase those numbers is to tap into a huge audience
Right.
like Afrobeats.
Right.
Afrobeats is on the rise. Soca artists are already knocking at that door, and he's like, he specified, he's like, why do you think Marshall's doing this?
Right.
Why do you think Patrice is doing this? And these artists are going down the Afrobeats lane
Right.
to tap into that audience. And he's like, Afrobeats is blowing up at such a fast rate right now that, you know, it's gonna be hard to catch up if we don't get on now.
Right.
So he's like, why don't I build an infrastructure in those places where at least it's the starting point?
Smart.
If I go now and even get 100 people, it doesn't have to be no 10,000 people
Right.
festival
Smart.
yet.
Yeah.
If I get 100 people just to do something,
Yeah.
now I could build off of that.
Forward thinking.
I'll have links,
Sucks.
crazy, you know?
yeah.
And this turned into almost a 2-hour conversation with somebody I do not speak to like that.
Sucks.
And I'm just there listening like, you're not talking nonsense. This
Yeah.
is all facts.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like the way he spoke about Ghana and how beautiful it was, his experiences and that transition for soca,
Yeah.
I said, nah, there's something out here I gotta see.
Okay.
There's something.
All right.
At the end of all of that, he's like, and I would love for you to come and play.
Wicked.
Out of nowhere.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm already jaw dropped by the story.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you telling me you want me to come and play?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
yeah.
What? Yes, I am absolutely down. That was supposed to be in 2022.
Right.
Didn't end up happening because of Omicron. So had to postpone that to 2023.
Right.
He said they were doing it again in 2023. So this is about December, January times. I'm now realizing, okay, I got to start looking into this trip because this trip is beginning of May.
Right.
So I say, okay, what do I have to get done? Because I know going into Ghana is not just like a walk in the
Right.
park.
Right.
You have to get a lot of things in order. You have to get vaccines.
Yeah.
You have to get your visa, mosquito spray, like all these intricate things to go to this place.
Right.
So first thing I got out of the way was the vaccines.
Yeah.
Not realizing you have to take 4 needles. I don't like taking 1. The man stuck 4 in my arm. Nah. That was one of the worst experiences ever. I could barely handle 1. And don't you dare giggle like a schoolgirl, because when a bee flies by you, that's exactly how you act, like a schoolgirl. Okay. F you.
Shut up.
You giggling at my story. You shut up. So I take the needles. Pause. Okay. Cameraman, head up, ready to go. Okay. Okay.
All right. Well, which ones did you get? Which vaccines did you get?
So
that you had to get.
Yellow fever,
Okay.
I can't even remember these things now. You know, yellow fever, hepatitis A,
Okay.
And 2 others.
Okay.
But it was 4 in total, and I have to take a 5th one in October. One of them required 2 shots within a 6-month period.
Okay. Okay.
So I got to go back in October.
Right.
But I go take the shots now.
Yeah.
Pause. And this guy. From there, I say, okay, now it's time to get the visa.
Right.
So I'm kind of like calm about it.
Yeah.
I'm not really thinking nothing of it. I'm thinking, okay, I probably just got to walk up in like a Service Canada or something along those lines, ask them for a visa,
Right.
apply, and it gets mailed to me or something, or I get it within a certain time.
Right.
This is a month and a bit before.
Okay.
And my mom's hounding me to get this visa.
Right.
I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like, it shouldn't take that long. And I asked the travel agent I have.
Yeah.
I asked him to research that for me on how to get the visa.
Right.
He sent me some website. So I applied on the website. I filled out like 3 pages of information, bro.
Okay.
Only for them to only send me a quote on how much it will cost. So as I'm filling it out, it's asking me for stuff like if I want guided assistance, that's recommended.
Right.
This and that for what I need to get the visa. By the time I do the whole checkout process, it's like I'm gonna send you an email regarding how much it will cost for the visa.
Yeah.
I got the response email a couple days later, bro. $900
For a visa.
for a visa to get into.
to get to
I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to buy a flight. I just need this visa card or whatever it is to get into the country for a week.
Right.
I called the lady on the phone. I was one of the rudest ladies I've ever spoken to in my life. I was at a point I was gonna cuss that lady up and down, but I already told her my name and stuff.
Right.
Couldn't cuss the lady, which I'm gonna do now that I'm back. To be honest, now that when I watch this back and edit it, I'm calling her and cussing her, but rude.
Right.
So I'm not even enthusiastic about getting this visa at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm struggling. How do I get this visa? I end up calling the promoter. He's like, yo, I got a link. It's just gonna be a certain payment. They'll pull you literally right off of the plane and bring you to this place called Visa on Arrival.
Okay.
Deal with you within 5 to 10 minutes, and you're on.
Okay.
That's exactly what happened.
Right. Okay.
So I go on my first flight to Ghana. This is 22 hours. You know me.
I know you.
I don't. If I had to go on Miami, I wouldn't want a connecting flight.
Right.
I had to go to Ghana. Now, luckily, it was one connection to Ghana.
Right.
Coming back, I'll get there. But 22-hour flight. Finally make it to the motherland.
Right.
Something that well stuck out to me was after I did the whole Visa on Arrival stuff and I walked outside.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of people outside. One of the first guys that walked up to me, he just came and shook my hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Welcome home, my brother." Just like that.
Nice.
And that something about that just struck a chord. It was like, yo, it just felt so welcoming.
It was that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It was that moment.
Wakanda forever. Okay. But it struck a chord. It was something
facts.
very welcoming.
Yeah.
It made you feel at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's a slogan that people normally say, especially around the airport.
Yeah.
Welcome home. Because, and we'll get into that later, why they say that, or, you know, the idea behind that. But moving forward now, we gather. It was a bunch of people on that flight to go to the resort.
Yeah.
They had a bus organized for us, another car to put our luggage. Like, that was very well organized.
Okay.
Get to the resort now. Check-in was very quick.
Okay.
Got my card within like minutes.
Right.
Went straight to the room. The room, this was a resort that was like several different like huts.
Okay.
But like with 10 rooms in these big huts.
Okay.
So in order to walk to them, you had to walk through like back alleyways.
Okay. Okay.
And in the nighttime, all these back alleyways have like palm trees.
Okay.
But it's dark.
Right.
All they have is like the side lights that you could see like the walkway.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, sometimes when you be walking down those things at night, you're just hearing the thing shuffle, the palm trees shuffling. I do not want to know what's up there. And right before that, this is a story I forgot to say. So I get on the plane now after the first connection.
Okay.
You know how when it's a long flight, they put pillows on all the seats.
Yeah.
So There's pillows on all the seats. I go to sit in my seat, but I see a lady breastfeeding in my seat.
Okay.
I said, ma'am, I think I'm 33A. What are you? She's like 33A. So I showed her the thing. I'm like, okay, I don't get it, but I'll go talk to somebody.
Right.
She calls me back. She's like, no, wait, I have 38A.
38A. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, you're clearly busy.
Yeah.
I believe you here. I'll go to 38A.
Yeah.
Then the flight attendant was like, thank you so much. We were trying to resolve that, blah, blah, blah. She goes, she does her thing. I go to sit down in 38A. So I pick up my pillow, get settled, put away my stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's slowly starting to come on the plane. This old Bayesian lady, probably 60-something years old, looks at me. Excuse me. I said, hi. She said, that's my seat. I said, no, actually, the lady over there is in my seat, 33A, and I'm 30, or she was 38A.
Right.
And she told me if I could move.
Right.
She's like, okay, but that's my seat. So she points to the seat next to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So then?
Yeah.
She's like, well, can you move your stuff off of the seat? And now people are looking because like the way her tone of voice is, she's making a scene.
Right.
And people are looking. So she's like, can you move your stuff off my seat? So I'm like, that's your stuff. These are the pillows for you. And some other guy said the same thing at the same. She's like, that's you. He's like, that's yours. So we all start laughing.
Right.
And she's like, oh. I'm like, nice to meet you too.
Wow.
Funny enough,
she's on
one of the nicest ladies ever. And she's on the trip with me. In the same exact hut.
Wow.
Like 5 doors down or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank God I wasn't like, you know. Later to find out, she works for the CIA.
Oh, wow.
All of that, like, all of that. So that was one of those moments. I'm very happy I was raised well because me making that little joke and us becoming cool was a lot better than having an enemy in the CIA. I'll tell you that much. This is all real. I could not make this stuff up.
Wow.
So anyway, we head to the resort, set all my stuff in the resort. Beautiful resort, bro.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful. Palm trees, pool, all the works. And the room was amazing. It had a nice AC system.
Okay.
Bathroom everything was nice.
Okay.
So first thing I did, settle my stuff, rest for a little bit.
Yeah.
Went and got some food.
Okay.
Resort food wasn't that good.
Okay.
Decent.
Right.
Wasn't that good. I think I just didn't have the right stuff.
Okay.
What I did want, first thing they said, oh, sorry, we don't have that today. We don't have this or this, which was like the other two options I would order.
Right.
So I had to order whatever there was.
So let me guess what you're trying to order. Chicken wings.
No.
Oh.
Oh yeah. But that was second place. Steak was first.
I was thinking, okay.
So chicken wings was not there either. That was second place, and then something else. My Glizzy. My name's JKD.
Shut up, man. This guy.
Anyway,
pause.
So I ate the food, then go to play now. Now this trip last year, mind you, they had the same trip.
Okay.
Last year they had about 100 to 150 people.
Okay.
This year might have had 30 to 40 max.
Right.
I think it was timing. I think it was now that the economy is getting better and people are trying to travel elsewhere.
Was it supposed to be earlier in the year and then he moved the date?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So a lot of factors contributed to why I guess the attendance wasn't as big as it could have been.
Right.
But there was still enough people to create something. Like we had a vibe.
Right.
So everybody was nice. That's one thing I was happy with. Everybody was good company. Very well behaved, well brought up people.
Okay.
Had no complaints there. One thing. Now, when it comes to Ghana, okay? This is Ghana 101. If you're visiting Ghana, and especially if you're a foreigner, you don't look like them.
Yeah.
From the moment that you lock eyes with one of those hustling locals,
Yeah.
if you lock eyes with them, from the time you hear, hello, my brother, that's it. Do not expect to get out of that conversation, or do not expect that they're not going to ask you to buy something or see their artwork. Bro, I don't know what it is about this artwork, but everybody out there was trying to sell, hello, my brother, come and check out my artwork. I don't want to see your goddamn artwork. I don't. What is about it? What is it with this artwork?
They're just hustling, man.
I get it, but like, why artwork? I don't want your artwork. I get the souvenirs, that kind of jazz, but no. And all of them are doing it to an annoying point, bro.
Right.
And I wouldn't, obviously not all of the, everybody there, but like the hustlers, which are a lot.
Yeah.
I'm talking from the time we drove up to something like a flea market area.
Right.
I think it was by the Independence statue or whatever.
Okay.
There was a flea market area in there. From the moment we got out of the car,
Yeah.
3 guys walking up to the car with artwork, glasses, souvenirs. Hello, my brother. And it literally gets to a point where you have to ignore them.
Right.
And then I feel bad. I'm like, I don't want to be ignored.
Yeah.
Even one time, one guy was like, excuse me, he's talking to you. I'm like, I know, that's the point, but I don't want to be ignoring him, but he won't leave me alone if I don't ignore him.
Right.
But there was another like fleet, because I went with some locals one day.
Okay.
One of the first DJs I met out there that was on the trip, Jasper Music.
Okay.
Big up Jasper from Atlanta. I met him, and he said he had a friend there who was living there for a period of time.
Okay.
And he is actually in town as well.
Okay.
He bought a property or land in Ghana, and he, I guess, was back for the week to check up on it and put down more payments. So he said he would come and take Jasper around.
Okay.
And I guess they coordinated that. So Jasper was like, if you want to roll with, come on.
Right.
So we end up going around town, right? We go to the flea market thing because we want to buy the souvenirs cheap.
Right.
But they were like, the best place to get souvenirs cheap is on the mountaintop. So that's the thing. When it comes to the flea market area down in town, that experience and how they all hound you, like each of the stores in that, those come inside, come inside.
Right.
It was like night and day when we went on the mountaintop.
Okay.
When we went on the mountaintop, peaceful.
Right.
There wasn't many people there. If it was people's store, the most they would say is, come and check out my store.
Right.
And if you say, no, it's okay, they leave you right alone.
Right.
Right? But the hustlers, bro, they will not stop. And it's one of those things like, that's how hard that they work.
Yeah.
Like, that's how much effort and stuff they're putting in easily just to sell something like artwork.
Yeah.
But if they actually applied that like effort to something, you know, of more value, I would say.
Right.
They could do a lot with what they're putting into that, to selling that stuff, you know? So I must say that experience going around town, we went to the mountaintop. We drove by the guy's land on the mountaintop.
Okay.
He was just explaining to us, again, look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Ghana's going to be a place a lot of people want to visit.
Right.
There's monuments here, all that kind of stuff. So why not have a house you could rent out?
Right.
He's like, I bought this on the mountaintop. Cheap compared to what we would buy it in the States.
Right.
Which is another thing. When I went by the visa office to get inside Ghana, I accidentally dropped my phone on the floor. And the guy that was helping me, he's like, he said something. I'm like, sorry, what'd you say? I didn't hear you because it was loud.
Yeah.
He's like, that phone could buy land in Ghana. And he was not joking.
Crazy.
It's facts. Like the amount this phone costs.
Yeah.
Homeboy told me he bought land on the mountaintop that overlooked Ghana for like 2-3 times the cost of this phone.
That's crazy.
So he's like, these are investments.
Yeah.
You buy the land for that price, you build up on it, that's a whole separate price. But by the time you finish that, that's not even like scratching the surface on what a house here costs.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just an investment abroad.
Crazy.
So I'm learning those different things. Driving back now, we see a lady selling corn on the side of the road. Fam, this lady was dipping her hand in this huge pot.
Of the hot water?
On top of fire, bro. Wood fire. Boiling this big pot of water.
Hold on. So you're telling me the lady put her hand in the water,
Fam.
in the hot water.
Yes.
And grabbed the cord.
Yes.
I gave it to you guys.
Yes. Peeled the corn and everything, put them in plastic bags, gave us a little bit of salt, and said, enjoy. Bro.
Her hand was fine? Like it was.
Fam, it's like she's been doing this for her whole life. She dipping her hand in I can't even take the steam on top of that pot. This lady was diving in that pot. I said, yo. So we get back in the car now.
Right.
And Jasper, he turns to us and he's like, well, boy, this is it. This is the moment. So we're wondering, what are you talking about? We're confused.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's like, this is it. This is the moment when the bacteria enters my system. I could not stop laughing. That whole car, it was like half an hour car ride, but I could not stop laughing. Just the way he said it to we were all puzzled, like, what? Oh, that was hilarious. That was what I was happy to meet, man. Jasper.
Right.
So we get back now. We get back to the situation, to the resort.
Right.
But we're with the guy who built the land and his local friend.
Okay.
So we're speaking with this guy. This guy helped us haggle everybody. He was the you of Ghana.
Yeah, for real.
So everywhere we went, he did exactly what you do.
Right.
If it cost $5, no, give me it for $4.
Yeah.
Yes, Kofi. Yes, Kofi.
Is that his name?
Yeah. Yes, Kofi. So give me it for $4. And then when we went up to the mountaintop, they were trying to charge the up price because they see us.
Yeah.
We're obviously foreigners.
Yeah.
So he's talking in his language.
Yeah.
I have no clue what he's saying.
Okay.
But I'm just hearing the little keywords here and there.
Yeah.
I told him afterwards, I'm like, I don't know what you were saying, but were you saying that I didn't bring them all the way from Accra down there to the mountaintop to pay more than what they were charging us down there? So you have to give it to us for less.
Right.
He's like, you understood all of that? Like, oh, I catch what you're doing already. So I put two and two together. He's like, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
Wow.
Bro, we got everything for cheap,
Okay.
local prices.
Okay, good.
Even had the lady do a little one of these wristbands for Amaris.
Okay.
And I like got to record her like putting in the beads and sewing it in.
Okay.
It was really dope.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So get back to the resort now. Again, this goes back to the situation I was talking about keeping good relationships.
Yeah.
And just at least maintaining some level of connection with somebody.
Okay.
So another person I met on the trip that was a DJ was DJ Tero from St. Kitts.
Right.
Bro, I've always spoke to him online. He's always admired what I do.
Right.
And just like hailed me here and there, but it's never been a conversation. Yeah. I even saw him in passing in Miami.
Okay.
But we didn't even have time to talk. It was just like, yo, what's up? I'm Buzz. I'm Tero. Good to meet you. Where's the band? Blah.
Right.
Done. Then we went our separate ways. Finally getting to meet him now in Ghana. This is how like networking happens.
Right.
We're sitting poolside talking. And he's like, yo, nice to meet you, bro. So what's up? Like getting, small talk.
Right.
Then the man tells me out of nowhere, he's like, yo, I want to come to Toronto, bro. I just don't know what's going on for Caravana.
Right.
He's like, I'm booked for a show there, but I want to know if I should come Caravana time too.
Right.
Like, well, yeah, it's a good vibe.
Yeah.
I would say like the parade is not what you would expect in an island.
Right.
But the parties and stuff are really good.
Right.
He's like, yeah, bro, but I want to play on the road. I just don't have a band to play with.
Right.
I know, being in Toronto and JKD being my friend, that JKD is heavily invested with helping Sunlime with their DJ lineup.
Right.
So I put two and two together and I asked him, I'm like, do you care what band you play with? Like, does it have to be the top of the top band?
Right.
He's like, no, bro, I just want an opportunity. I don't care where it is. Like, obviously no nonsense, but if I can get a good opportunity.
Yeah.
I went straight on my phone, texted you. You responded on the spot.
Right.
I showed him the message. It was as easy as that.
Yep.
So that was just me doing that off of meeting him. I don't know him like that.
Right.
Good vibes. We kept in contact.
Yeah.
And we got a chance to speak. I helped him with that.
Right.
He was so appreciative. It's like, thank you, bro. That really means a lot.
Yeah.
And two things he did. He's like, yo, watch this. He pulls out his phone. He scrolls. And he goes to his party in St. Kitts.
Okay.
I don't know if it's his party or one he's affiliated with, but a big event.
Okay.
Like I think he's gonna have an artist or a few artists on it, like Mr. Vegas,
right?
St. Kitts artist. I don't know, maybe a Trini artist, whatever.
Right.
But like a big cast and a big cast of DJs.
Okay.
He shows me the DJ list.
Yeah.
It says Busby, Toronto.
Wow.
I'm like,
that's crazy.
I didn't do what I just did for that, and he already had that organized. And then later on in the trip, this is what caught me. I'm sitting there, we at the table, I think it was on the last night, and he looks at me, he's like, yo, so Buzz, would you think it's crazy, or what would you say if I told you that when I was like just starting up, I looked at your DJ network videos as inspiration to keep going.
Wow.
I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, bro. I used to really watch your videos. Like, that helped me.
That's crazy.
All of that was just, and I didn't know none of that.
Right.
But we just made the link.
Right.
And we was cool after that. And now he's telling me all of this, like, yo. And he's a big deal where he's from.
Right.
Even internationally, he's getting that buzz.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
Pause. But but he's getting notoriety out there.
Yeah.
And Insane Kids, yeah, he's one of the top dogs.
Yeah. Even up here, I remember doing a flyer while you guys were in Ghana. I was doing a flyer and he was on it. So
that's what you said.
Yeah.
When I messaged you about it, you're like, it's crazy. I just did this flyer.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, man.
Do you see how the world works sometimes?
Man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
But
man.
I say all that to say is the importance of keeping that connection.
Absolutely.
Just being good-hearted.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do that for him.
Right.
And I told him when he comes on to Toronto, he's good on my events.
Right.
And now that I see that, you
Right.
good on my events.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was another amazing person to meet.
Right.
Also met a couple other DJs, DJ 62.
Okay.
I was told he was one of the best small island DJs there is. And the comparison was either him or Blaze.
Oh, wow.
DJ Blaze from St. Martin. So
Okay.
that's a big deal.
Right.
He's from St. Croix.
Okay.
Amazing energy.
Right.
Hilarious dude.
Okay.
He played very well. And
Okay.
I would have loved to hear him play small island stuff.
Right.
I didn't get that opportunity, sadly.
Okay.
But other stories as well we cannot share on this one. I will tell you afterwards.
Right.
And then so DJ Chiga, DJ 62, Jasper, Dynasty, obviously.
Right.
DJ Chiga I didn't say. DJ Chiga.
Okay.
He's Dynasty's like boy.
Okay.
Like close boy.
Okay.
And with him, he played very well out there. It's like
Okay.
he knew what like their local stuff.
Right.
All of us were standing there like, you all have this tune? Oh, but all the locals are going crazy.
Right,
Like it's
right.
wild.
Right.
So anyway, I guess I'll get into the parties first. The parties were very good.
Okay.
There was one that wasn't well attended. It was Juve because everybody was tired at that point,
Right,
sadly. But other than that, the parties were in like venues.
Okay.
One thing I must say, bro, is when it comes to the venues of these places,
Right.
Ghana is in general, I think, from driving around and what I saw,
Yeah.
Ghana is somewhere where I personally feel like you drive around and just don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
There was certain spots that we pulled up to. Like all of us were literally like, yo, Rod, where the hell are you bringing us right now?
Right.
You look at this place, it's like run down from the outside sometimes,
Yeah.
or like just regular, like a building.
Right.
You're not thinking nothing of it. But when you walk in, bro, these are nicer places than up here.
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm like, yo, I would never have. As we were walking in, Taro was like, "Well, we might as well just stay at the hotel. Like, if we were at the resort, it would have looked better than this."
Right.
And I told him, "I'm like, bro, don't judge a book by its cover. We
Yeah.
don't know yet.
Right.
Let's just go in, and then when we're inside, we'll see what it is."
Right.
When we walked inside, he's like, "I'll shut up." It was such a nice venue, bro.
Right.
And that happened for like all the venues that we went. But I say all that to say we went into them and it was a mix of our crowd, our people, and some of the locals.
Okay.
And bro, there were locals there that came because they knew it was a soca thing.
Wow. Okay.
And there was some locals that like were dancing, singing along song to song with the soca.
Wow. Right.
So I was shocked.
Right.
I'm like, they know our stuff.
Right.
And if it wasn't that, it was the other locals bopping their head.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
One person I was extremely, I wouldn't say shocked because I know he's a good DJ,
Yeah.
but I had to sit there and really listen to this guy play.
Right.
I've never really heard Dynasty play like that,
Okay.
but that was like his zone.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and like listening to Homeboy play.
Okay.
And after he was done and he came up to hail us, I'm like, yo, you're just showing off or what? Like, you just, I told him, I'm like, yo, all that whole set,
Yeah.
just go in your history and drop that for me one time when you get a chance, please. So he ended up, tell him we didn't get a chance to exchange music,
Yeah.
but he told me when we get back, I'll set up a Zoom call with you and I'll send you all those files.
Okay.
But again, the importance of networking, the rest of us DJs,
Right.
I think 4 out of the 6, we ended up sitting poolside, exchanging music.
Crazy.
bro. And on top of that, there was one DJ there that was a local
Yeah.
that just admired us because these are guys from the States, this
Right.
guy from Canada.
Right.
Who are these guys that are coming here? I want to network with them.
Yeah.
So he's asking us for all the soca we got.
Right.
The man gave us a folder, bro, of like 3 gigs of Ghanaian music.
Wow.
And that's just what I got from him.
Right.
Tiro gave me like 20 gigs of music, bro.
Jeez.
Jasper gave me a set of music. And I was copying Tiro's music, but there was one file.
Yeah.
There was like 60,000 files in there. I couldn't even copy that. I was like, yo, we have to go just now. I can't even. 6'2" gave some Bouillon and St. Martin music because I'll be going to St. Martin.
Yeah.
So I just asked him, could I have some help? But I say all that to say the importance of networking with these DJs.
Right. Right.
Going on these type of trips is important.
Right.
Like I have a whole new collection of music that would have taken me so long
Right.
to try and figure out and download one by one.
Right.
I don't even know where to get Afro beats. I went into Ghana with like 200 solid tracks.
Right.
I have gigabytes on gigabytes of music to go through now of Afro beats.
I'm about to have them too.
This guy is so crazy though. This guy is so and you know what the crazy part too? I sent him all my Soca 2023. All of it. The man didn't even ask for a few songs. He's like, yo, send all of it. You know how much time and effort that is?
And I appreciate that.
$200. So, you have to subscribe to my to my hard drive. But yeah, man, the parties were all dope.
Okay.
All the DJs played well. I was very happy to hear all of them.
Okay.
Each had their own unique way of playing or whatever the case, or their own songs. And
Yeah.
everybody was good. So Dynasty really picked an amazing cast, and I was very happy with them. And before I get to probably the most important part of the trip, before all of the events, before all of the trip itself, Dynasty messaged us in the group. And he's like, yo, I want to have a DJ meeting in the lobby this time.
Right.
So we end up meeting up and we sit down in the lobby. And he's like, hear what? Every one of you DJs is on this trip for a reason. None of you are here by chance or by accident. I only work with a limited amount of people in this industry.
Right.
And each of you are here for a purpose. Then he explained his mission. And he was showing us different things about the importance of doing stuff in Ghana from early.
Right.
And his mentality behind it is that Afrobeats is clearly on the rise.
Right.
But there's somebody that's going to keep knocking that door on Afrobeats. And whether it be Afrobeats or some other genre or what, somebody within the next few years is going to make a song that fuses the two so well
Right.
that soca's just going to take off in a certain direction.
Right.
And his guess is that it would be Afrobeats because the beats are so similar.
Right.
So what he's saying is it's time now to plant the seeds in these places,
Right.
build the connections now,
Right.
so that when later comes, it's a lot easier to go into that market. Because if you try
Makes
from
sense.
that point,
Yeah. Exactly.
you're not getting inside.
Right. Right.
Or it's going to be a lot harder to.
Yeah. Right.
So I thought that was, a very well thought out plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just made me realize more and more why something kept telling me, no, go on this trip.
Well, right.
And you know me. You know me. I would not want to go on this trip otherwise,
Right,
or think about it unless somebody sold it to me like
Right.
that.
Right.
But when he did, I'm like, nah, I have to be there. I want to see all of what there is to see.
Right.
Now, I would say the most important part of the trip to Ghana, for me,
And it has nothing to do with music.
nothing at all to do with music.
Right.
The most important part to me was visiting the slave castles on the Gold Coast in Ghana. That experience was probably one of the most heaviest experiences I've ever been through or seen.
Yeah.
I shouldn't even say been I walked through, I experienced it
Right.
in terms of seeing what it was,
Right.
right? But it was something crazy to witness. And it was something that it really opened your eyes to the fact that they don't teach you that over here.
Right.
The impression that you get from slavery and what's taught over here is night and day to what I heard
Right.
walking through those castles.
Right.
And I could sit here and share some story. I probably will share a couple. But if I sat here and told all the stories, it'd probably make all y'all pissed.
Right.
and sad and emotional, and that's not the point of this podcast. We want to,
Right.
uplift, but it was insane. Now, mind you, we're walking through this slave castle, different slave castles on like a 33-degree weather day.
Right.
So they're taking us into these dungeons, and they're showing us like where things took place.
Mm-hmm.
This was a cell for slaves that misbehaved.
Right.
This was the dungeon before they got transported on the boats. This was the area where they congregated. This was how they used the washroom. So I guess I'll share maybe 2 or 3 of those stories just to kind of give you context as to what I'm talking about, and to really show you the emphasis of why being there and being in person is like night and day when it comes to reading about it.
Right.
So the first castle we went to, I believe it was called Elmina Castle.
Okay.
And the Mina in it stands for mine.
Right.
So to my understanding, I didn't get the full synopsis. I was trying to do a million things at once, but as much as I paid attention, what I got from it is that the Portuguese originally owned the castle,
Okay.
and that was to mine gold
Right.
because they found gold on the coast of Ghana.
Right.
And they're thinking, well, if it's on the coast, if we mine, we'll find more.
Right.
Not realizing it was coming from the water.
Right.
So they built that infrastructure, not thinking about slavery per se.
Right.
But when the British took over,
That's when they used
that situation as that.
Right.
The number that they gave, we had asked how many slaves, had passed through these castles for the duration.
Right.
So the guy said it's not fully reported, obviously, but
Right.
to our understanding, it's upwards of 500 million slaves over the course of 400 years that were shipped away, killed, all of the above. 500 million, and it amounted to 500,000 or something like that a year. He was just giving some figure like that
Right.
over the course of the 400
Right.
years. And that alone is just like, wow. So that, what I'm saying, will tie in at the end.
Okay.
But we get in the first castle, Elmina Castle. So we see 2 cells upon entering this place.
Right.
It's a big open, it literally looks like a jail. This big open area, and then we see 2 cells off to the side. One cell, he explains to us, is for the guards who misbehave. The other cell is called the cell of no return. So y'all could put 2 and 2 together, what that probably means. The cell of no return with, them skulls, like the pirate signs, the skull and the 2 bones underneath the X, symbolizing death.
Yeah.
That is engraved over that cell. The guard cell, he took us inside. We get inside, pretty well ventilated. We could breathe. There's 2 windows. The door to the cell is like a pickaxe door.
Right.
Or white picket fence type of, like, with spaces in the middle. It's ventilated, and there's sunlight, etc. He's like, this cell was for guards that misbehaved and guards that went off of this castle site to go and drink, which was illegal at the time.
Right.
And they'd come back and do things to the female slaves.
Right.
They were only put in this cell for a few hours. And then he points at his watch, and you could tell he's getting like pissed. He's like, few hours they were put into this cell. Now come and let's go to the cell of no return. So all 30 of us gather, leave it, go into the cell of no return. We get in there, it is pitch black. Pitch black. We could barely see any of us standing beside us. The only source of any light was this hole at the very top of the cell from the other cell. Not even from outside. You could barely breathe. When they close in that door, all there is like the size of a hole punch.
Yeah.
There's 4 hole punches on the door. The only purpose of those hole punches is to make sure whether or not the slaves are dead. The slaves who misbehaved were put into those cells that you could barely breathe in, were given no food and no water, and left there until they died. And then brought outside as an example to the rest of the slaves, not to do anything. And just being there and feeling that, and we in our regular state, in our regular clothes, on a hot day, feeling uncomfortable for what 20 minutes,
Right.
10 minutes that we were in these
Right.
spaces.
Right.
They had to live that and live in those spaces. The other part now, he takes us to the dungeons. The dungeons are, how would I give, probably the size of your average corner store, your bodega, wherever you're listening from.
Yeah.
The average size of a convenience store. He said how at any given time there would probably be 100 to 150 male slaves in each of these. Same with the women. He said the women was a bit bigger.
Right.
It's like 150 to 200 female slaves would be in here at any given time in a convenience store sized dungeon. So we're looking like, yo, like we are well spaced in here where maybe if we lay down,
Right.
we'd have space to sleep.
Yeah.
And there's 30 of us. That was it. Imagine 200 something people in there. You are
Right.
like a sardine cans at that point.
Right.
He's like, for this particular dungeon, all they had was buckets at every end of the dungeon. And that's how they used the washroom.
Wow.
Now, leaving that dungeon, we took a tour around the rest of the castle. Then we went upstairs to see their headquarters.
Right.
So we get into different places. He's like, this is the kitchen. They have 2 kitchens, ovens, chefs.
Right.
The section, he's like, there's a, look at this place. He's like, what would you guys guess this place is? Yellow painted walls, very nice. He's like, this was the slave owner's living room. As you could see, it's 2 rooms and probably bigger than the female slave castle for just himself. But the female slave castle was just as big as that for 200 women.
It's crazy.
And then after that, we go into another room, and then we see on the wall, it's inscribed Psalm something,
Scripture.
Psalm 24,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he's just like, do you guys want to take a wild guess what this room is? So we're like, is it the church? He's like, yeah. And how ironic is it that you guys have been walking around with me, so you generally know where we are. He's like, how ironic is it that this church right now is literally above the female dungeon? So they're up here praying and praising God and this and that, but
They're doing all
that's
that.
what's happening downstairs.
Right.
And it was something along the lines of something in the Bible that basically showed or explained this sort of like creature or demon that fit the general description of a black person.
Right.
And in that, it was mentioning that there's no soul with somebody that is like that. So they immediately,
Yeah.
labeled
Us.
that situation
Right.
as that.
Right.
So, and then he was saying like the slave ships that would come and pick up the slaves were literally called like Jesus, Joseph, like
Crazy.
those type of things.
Right.
So, and these stories could go on. I'm just telling you like probably the most hitting ones,
Yeah.
and the ones that really were like eye opening, being there and experiencing that feeling.
Right.
The last one was probably the craziest for me, and that was a whole other castle, the Cape Coast Castle.
Okay.
So this one seemed like a bigger castle, and
Right.
probably the more noted one when it comes to like the visuals of what the castles look like.
Right.
So we go inside. It's a bigger space, bigger castle, similar structure.
Okay.
Done. Cell of no return.
How far is it from the first one?
Not far.
far?
It's walking distance,
Okay.
but like a D's walk.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would be a drive-in, maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
5-10 minutes. But that's how close these were in
Right.
proportion.
Right.
And then they had like the military and stuff for like if boats were trying to come in to take over that space.
Yeah.
There was like cannons and stuff to stop that.
Right. Right.
So all of that we're standing and looking at.
Okay.
So we get into the Cape Coast Castle now, and they're taking us on a tour through there. Again, similarities, but the dungeons now are bigger.
Okay.
So whereas the other one had like maybe one big dungeon for each female and male,
Yeah.
this other one now had 5. And like maybe 2 or 3 big female ones.
Right.
So in the male dungeon, there was 5 different dungeons side by side.
Okay.
So we get into the first one now, and he explains, he's like, So I want you guys to look down at your feet. So we look down and he's like, do you guys see the brick tiles? And we're like, yeah, we do. You know, and he's like, and you see there's like a walkway in the middle, or not a walkway, like a drainage type of thing in the middle between the tiles in the middle of the place going to the out. So we're like, yeah. He's like, yeah. So what happened was slaves were piled in here, 100 to 150 at a time. As you guys can see, that's not much space. But whenever anything happened, like if they had to pee, if they had to poo, if they bled, if women were on their periods, whatever the case is, all of that happened in the middle drainage of these places. And he said, what happened, and this is how I'm tying back in earlier, he said what happened was over the course of slavery, none of that was cleaned. So we're talking hundreds of years that just built up over time.
Right.
And he's like, we purposely had people come in and clean the first one to show you an example of its original state versus to what it looks like now after they've gone through the 400 or whatever years of buildup. So he's like, let's take a walk into the other room. Go and walk into the other room. There is literally, like, you could see it now that you look down and you understand. Yeah. You look down, there's about 4 inches of like black tar that like we're walking on. That's like concrete now on top of the tiles. And he said, look down. That's the buildup of everything that happened. And we left it there purposely to show you guys what it is. And he's like, but something that, you know, you could say with pride in a way is that you guys are standing on the DNA of your ancestors right now. And you're back home. And this was once a place that was literally labeled as a place of no return. Right. Because if you were somebody of our skin color going into these places, you're not returning back to your home. You're going wherever. And he's just like, we left it this way and we preserved it in order for you guys. It's like something to look up to. Yeah. This was something we weren't supposed to return to. And now, generations later, we're back. And, you know, as much as, it was a horrific time, we could come back there and say, no, we can return. Right. You know, and those stories, just being there and even hearing this podcast, it doesn't compare to being there and feeling that, feeling the heaviness, feeling the spirits, feeling that energy, feeling the humidity, how they must have felt. You standing there for a half hour like, yo, is there AC? Right. Imagine. Seeing the walkways they had to get through to go onto these boats. It was crazy to experience that, bro. Right. And that's one thing out of that whole trip that I was like, that's impactful. You know what I'm saying? That was something that really opened my eyes to what that was. Right. And he was just like, you know, honestly, they never teach us. He's like, even in Ghana, there was a point in time where they weren't teaching that because the school system was from that system. And he was like, he purposely made it a mission to create a sort of infrastructure in schools. Right. And he's like, now this program is taught in 150 schools in Ghana. And he's like, how he has a children's book that he created about the whole situation. Yeah. From time he said that, bro, I bought a couple of books. Yeah. I bought one for my sister to read to Amaris, and I bought one for you to read to your daughters. Yeah. Just because I knew how impactful that was for me. Absolutely. And, you know, anyone else I know, you know, in general, I hope they're taking this as a lesson. Like, there's a lot to see out there and stuff that we're not taught here for a variety of reasons. Yeah. You know, but that to me was probably one of the main purposes of me being out there. And it had nothing to do with DJing or music.
It's crazy. That's good.
You know, and even like to that, a lot of these places I'm going, I'm purposely buying like little figurines when I'm out there. Yeah. When I went back to the airport to come back home, I saw a figurine of that castle. It wasn't even that, it was like 20 US. Right. So I bought it and I'm now going to make like a shelving unit with all those things. I still have my Aladdin's lamp from Dubai. Okay. Nice. The Busby thing from London, you know? Right. So all of that, like these places that I'm going to, like I had to stop a few times when I was there, not just in the castles, but there in Ghana in general. Right. And just overlook my surroundings like, yo, soca really brought me here. Yeah. Music brought me here. DJing brought me here. Right. And I would not have thought twice about coming. Like I wouldn't have come here before
Right.
if it wasn't for those things.
Yeah.
But just for Soca to be bringing me to these places is life changing.
Yeah, man.
And it really opens your eyes to show you there's a whole new world out there
Yeah.
that a lot of us don't really fully know about.
Right. Right.
You know? So, I mean, for the most part, that was my trip. I ended up finding out their version of Uber Eats.
Okay.
So that saved my food experience.
Okay.
I could order whatever and it gets to the hotel with
Right. Right.
It was a crazy. I heard they do it in Jamaica too. I ordered KFC off of WhatsApp.
For real?
Yeah, bro.
How's that work?
I went on the website
Okay.
and they said the way to put in your order is through WhatsApp.
Okay.
You click it.
Yeah.
A bot automatically sends you a message.
Yeah.
You go through like a type 1 for this, 2
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You go down the list.
Yeah.
All right, confirm your order. Done.
For real? Through WhatsApp?
When they come, they you tap to pay.
Yeah.
They give you your meal and that's it.
Okay. That's wicked.
Crazy, huh? But the other app, Bolt, I think it was called Bolt Food.
Okay. Okay.
And then I was able to get
That's their Uber?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a lot more options there and cheaper than the resort food.
Okay. Okay.
But besides that, man, I must say thank you to Dynasty.
Yeah.
You know, we had a lot of moments where we got a chance to talk, and he specified that to me too. He's like, bro, we've always had a chemistry, me, you, and JKD,
Yeah.
and we never really got a chance to sit down and really talk like that.
Right.
And he's like, this is what I wanted that to be. And I'm like, yeah, I'm glad we're getting to do it.
Right.
And he was telling me some stories.
Yeah.
I don't even want to touch on those stories that he was telling me.
Right.
I already told him we're going to have this podcast.
Right,
It's just a matter of when.
Right.
So he's just like, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
you know?
It's funny. It's funny because you said that you met Dynasty or you seen Dynasty. 2018?
Yeah.
That was the first time.
Yeah.
I seen Dynasty because I remember faces. That's one thing about me. I remember faces. I seen Dynasty when I went to Barbados in 2016, and he was at a party.
Okay.
And the reason why he stood out to me because he's the only big guy, big light skinned guy there.
Yeah.
Like other than myself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not light skinned, but
Yes, you are.
But like that's when I first seen him.
Yeah.
That's when I first seen him. So
True.
yeah.
Big up to him. Big up to all the other DJs. You know, I was very happy to interact and meet with all of them and network.
Yeah.
Again, there were certain things like I'll explain to you after the podcast that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Again, these spaces are very important to be in.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense for you waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah.
You go out there and get it.
Right.
And if I can't say this like the actual story, like the intricate parts
Yeah.
of me and Dynasty knowing each other through that over the period of time.
Right.
Because there was some situations we both went into that we got screwed over.
Right.
But just because we were in those places, we got a chance to interact
Absolutely.
and take another step in the right direction.
Right.
But it was the point of it was to be in the room.
Right.
And being in the room, not only did I get a bunch of music,
Yeah.
I got some information from these guys who are doing this on a worldwide scale.
Right.
These guys who are doing this at the top levels and where they are.
Right.
So they're giving me tips and tricks about, and this is just general conversation.
Right.
We DJs, we here to DJ.
Right.
We all throw events. Let's talk.
Right.
And then we get into different ideas about how to expand the business, how to improve the business,
Right.
how to generate further, like all of that stuff we were talking about.
Right.
And they were telling me stuff I didn't even think twice about. Like I wasn't thinking about those things.
Right. Right.
And they're saying it like, yo, I should put this into practice when I get back. Or vice versa. Like for instance, the debit machine.
Yeah.
I just bought a debit machine for my events recently.
Right.
They were telling me that there's drawbacks with that too.
Right.
They're like, if you have a transaction of a certain amount,
Right.
apparently they hold that money for a long period of time.
Right.
That's wild. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't have known that per se if I wasn't talking to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that, again, it's just important to be in the room. There's a lot that could happen when you are in the room,
Right.
especially among your peers, you know?
Absolutely.
Meet new people, get a vibe. If you guys click or, you know, work well,
Right.
it's beneficial for both of y'all to
Absolutely.
in the future, you know? So gotta say big up to Dynasty. Gotta say big up to the entire Soca Invasion crew. There's a crazy story I have to tell you afterwards.
Okay.
It's not even like crazy like that. It's like crazy like I don't understand people, bro.
Right. Yeah.
I just really don't. Really don't. But anyway, we had a great time. Big up the Soca Invasion crew. I love all y'all. Definitely my crew on that last night on the shuttle back to the resort.
Okay.
We ended up just busting out tunes.
Okay.
The last night, that was what I wanted to tell you. The last night, there was a situation again
Yeah.
in a side street
Okay.
in Ghana
Right.
at night. We pull up to this building. I'm not seeing any buildings around. I'm just seeing like bush
Okay.
and a building, up
Yeah.
in the bush. So I'm
Yeah.
like, where are we right now?
Right.
This is the last night. Like, I'd like to be in a.
Yeah.
We walk into this place, bro. It was one of the nicest looking places
Okay.
with picnic tables and like they had servers, kitchen.
Okay.
But the craziest part was there was a guy on stage, and he had a full like band equipment system,
Okay.
which had like the keyboard and I guess a recording software.
Yeah.
So what he did was he put on, what's that called? It starts with a P.
You talking about the metronome?
P. Hear me. The metronome.
Yeah.
A metronome. So he puts
Right,
that on.
Right.
Then the man builds the beat of popular songs from
Right.
the ground up.
Right.
So first he'll start with a few drums,
Yeah.
and then he'll bring in the guitar,
Car.
and then it
Keys
just
and all that
keeps
stuff.
building.
Right.
Then he'll come on and sing the chorus.
Right.
Then he'll break the chorus and then sing the verse.
Right.
So by the time like 6-7 minutes is done, the
Yeah.
whole song is done, and you're like, yo, how do we get here?
You're-
This is crazy. So I got us a bit. I can't remember his name,
Right.
but that was a very well put together performance.
And he's a local or is
Yeah.
he okay? Okay.
Yeah, local.
Okay.
Very entertaining.
Okay.
But I found that really good on the last night because at that point we were all tired, and to go into another thing like that was something that was a bit of a back and forth because this was a soca invasion crew,
Right.
and I get it, we're in Ghana, so
Right.
you have to blend the both.
Right.
But there was a lot of times I felt there was a lot more Afro beats and Ghanaian
then-
music than
right.
ours,
Right.
right? So that was kind of unfortunate, but we all still vibed. We
Right.
still enjoyed the time.
Right.
And I must say, big up to that crew. They were all great people. Big up to all the locals and whatnot that were helping us. Big up to the staff at the Royal Palm,
Okay.
which I heard was like one of the biggest resorts out there.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And it was because they have a casino. And at one point in time, that was like the thing.
Right. Right.
But he was saying that even before COVID, it was starting to go on a decline.
Okay.
So after COVID was just like, yeah.
Right.
So now they're trying to build back up.
Okay.
But yeah, man, I had an amazing time in Ghana.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I'm forgetting to talk about, but I must say that was an experience once in a lifetime.
Wicked. I'm glad you went, man.
Me too. And I strongly encourage everybody to make that trip at least once and visit those, those
Yeah.
landmarks
Yeah.
of where those tragedies happen. It's something that, yes, it's heavy. Yes, it's emotional, but it gives you a perspective that, we don't hear up here.
Right.
And something that gives you a far more appreciation of where we came from
Absolutely.
than, our school books up here.
Yeah.
Right? So I appreciate you guys, man. Next, before we head out of here, as you are about to see on the screen, we finally have our branding. We finally have our logo. And we finally are ready to launch our new podcast under the brand new name, the Up From Here podcast. You ready?
Ready.
To show them?
Yeah.
Get them a drum roll. And ladies and gentlemen, here you have it, the Up From Here podcast.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, and I can't wait to launch this. This guy is so crazy. I can't wait to launch this and for you guys really to benefit off of the information we're putting out there.
Yeah.
What J. Kitty and I are doing is leveraging the attention that we have with what we're doing, event planning, DJing, graphic design, all of that. We're leveraging that attention to our audience base to try and grow something that could help our entire culture.
Absolutely.
And this mission is for that.
Right.
So we thank you guys for being, on the train thus far.
Yeah.
And we hope you stick along for the ride and help us to grow this thing to numbers we couldn't even imagine.
Yep. It's gonna get there.
It will. One step at a time.
Yes, sir.
Big up everybody who was on Soca Heads boat cruise, even though it hasn't happened yet. But it's because the recording, you know what I'm trying to say. But, yo.
It was a vibe.
Let,
It's gonna be a vibe.
Let's put it this way. Like, this is like the cheat code for boat. I think I've developed a cheat code for boat rides.
Okay.
Just from the initial vision of the boat, right?
Yeah.
I always loved bright colors on the boat rides.
Right.
I love seeing that, you know? So one thing I thought of for this cruise was the Soca Heads cruise.
Yeah.
I always had the idea Soca Head in mind,
Right.
right? And a funny thing is, you were somebody that told me, nah, bro, dash that name. That's not a good name. Right. He told me that a long time ago. And
How do you remember that?
realistically, I dashed it. I did dash it.
Right.
But for this boat ride, I wanted it to be all Soca.
Right.
At the time I thought of it, I'm like, there's no all Soca boat ride.
Right.
I want this one to be all Soca. At least not one that I'm knowledgeable of.
Okay.
Maybe there is. I don't know.
Right.
So anyway, we're thinking of a name, and originally I was gonna call it the All Soca Boat Cruise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But knowing how I am with like branding and concepts,
Yeah.
I did want like something easy.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to test the market.
Right. Right.
If it's easy, will it do better
Right.
than a name you have to think of, and
Right.
who knows? So we had it ready to launch, ABC,
Right.
All Soca Boat Cruise,
Right.
or whatever, ASBC.
Yeah.
So then randomly, I thought back on the Soca Heads name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to be bringing out these hats. Why don't I just do the boat cruise?
Right.
This guy put the rock smile in the group. The-
Because it was
a good idea.
Yeah. The timing was right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So from the time I told you do the flyers with the flags on it,
Yeah.
I knew I wanted everybody to be in their island colors.
Right. Yeah.
Just that alone and being in vibrant colors on a boat ride
Right.
is a vibe to me.
Right.
Then I'm going to have somebody decorating the boat.
Right.
You've already bought your ticket. From the time you walk on the boat, you get your ticket scan.
Yeah.
You walk past, you're going to see a couple pretty girls with
Yep.
cups and candy for you.
Yep.
You walk on the boat now with your food ticket.
Yep.
Grab your food, have a bite to eat from Calypso Hut.
Right.
Now it's party time.
Right.
You get your drinks. Soca's playing the whole cruise. You don't have to worry about no breaks.
Right.
If you love Soca, you're a party goer.
Right.
You're a party person.
Right.
So there's going to be a party cruise.
Right.
So all of that combined. Then the branding. We're going to have the signs. The
Right.
I love it here. Soca Heads.
Right.
All of that. I'm missing stuff. The air freshener.
Yeah.
From the time you get into the parking lot,
Right.
we're giving
Yeah,
each
air
car a Soca Heads air freshener.
Right.
This is like the cheat code to boat rides.
Yep.
It's already sold out.
They're getting candy. They're getting
This is going to be like the perfect ride for a Soca lover.
right.
And it's going to be talked about for years to come.
Yep.
So big up everybody that was there. If you did like it and enjoy it, put it in the comments below. Tell me whether or not I was right.
Right. Right.
But in my head, this is a very like I could see this being one of the next like cruise ships.
Yeah. For sure, bro. It's going to.
Facts.
It's going to be
And
Going
on
to
top
be.
of that, the whole we're selling the Soca Heads hats,
merch.
the merch that you could see on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
So if you guys want your own Soca Head hat, like I'm talking to professional, like look, the new era sign on it and everything. Some of them is not new era if you don't want to spend but a man like JKD, when they ask for a discount, all right, well, we got that one for you. You good.
No, I'm getting a new. I'm from around the way. I'm taking something back.
This guy's so stupid. Oh, man. But yeah, man, we appreciate you guys and thank you for all the support. The next episode you see on this platform is going to be the first episode of the Up From Here podcast.
Yes, sir.
Ready for them?
Yes, I am.
All right, man. As always, this is the Up From Here podcast. And now that you've heard all the information, it's only up from here.
Peace.